All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure the rest of the class will filter in as they find it appropriate. We're going to do session 2 of emotional intelligence today. Welcome back from spring break, by the way. Hopefully you didn't forget all the emotional intelligence stuff we did 2 weeks ago, but if you did, we'll do a quick review. And I'm always reminded when I teach this stuff. I thought about it, last 2 weeks ago, and I thought about it in the time since, just how often I use emotional intelligence techniques. Any of you who have friends who may not say the right thing all the time, it's important to protect those relationships and not go into an emotional hijack because they say something that annoys you. Similarly, in a business setting, you can't expect people to evaluate you objectively based on the merits all the time. There's a human nature aspect that works into it. The way you pose something, the way you might put them in an emotional hijack type of situation could have very important consequences for your career. So I think it's very useful to think about these simple emotional intelligence techniques and how we can use them both in our social lives and in our professional lives. So in terms of a quick review, let's think about a few of the big concepts we talked about 2 weeks ago. The first was emotional hijack. What is an emotional hijack? Ellen, take it for us.
It's like when you're in a very bad situation, you got shocked
Got shocked? Okay, I like where you're going.
and maybe you will.
Yeah, you gave us a good start.
Think in some ways, with self-consciousness.
Okay, all right, you gave us a great start. So a situation you might have gotten shocked and you behave in certain ways. So fill it out a little more for us, Rick.
Is it like you kind of freeze and you can't think?
Yes.
We talked about the
Hey, you-
18-minute rule, right?
Yes, you freeze and you can't think. That's a good way to sum it up. It is a fight or flight or freeze response. Adrenaline starts pumping through your body. You are, for some reason, very scared and focused on something that is posing danger to you. Now, this is sometimes a good thing. Did anyone recall when we said this is a good thing? When is this a good reaction for you to have? Josh?
Facing actual danger.
Life and death danger, all right? If you're facing a life and death danger, then you need that extra adrenaline to run really fast from the tiger or, lift up the car or whatever you need to do in this dangerous situation. Fortunately for us, we do not face life and death situations very often, but we experience this reaction all the time, constantly. When your boss says something that makes you nervous, when your friend says something that annoys you, when your parent says something that just gets under your skin, you have this reaction. And as Helen mentioned, you lose rational thought. You lose some of your ability to think through the consequences of what you might say, to think through the implications of what's going on. Is this person really trying to put me in an emotional hijack, or is this person just doing their job? So we have some techniques we use to prevent a bad outcome from emotional hijack. One of them was the triple B method. You remember that? 3 B's to think about avoiding an emotional hijack. Yes, Jerry.
Break pattern, really breathe, and stop and take some time to
Okay, just give me the 3. Break pattern,
buy time and build context.
buy time, build context. All right, so break pattern, what does that mean? Eric? Eric, somebody take break pattern for us. What is that? Break.
That says breathe and then stop and then think.
Okay, yeah, so that's one thing to do when you break the pattern, but literally you're breaking that fight or flight reaction pattern. You're breathing to slow down that adrenaline that might be going through your body because you think something's going to kill you. And you're getting back into your rational state of mind. So break pattern. Second one, buy time. Priya mentioned this 18-minute thing. What is the 18-minute thing with an emotional hijack?
Thinking comes back, the rational thinking comes back after 18 minutes.
Yes, part of your rational thinking. There are a bunch of different nuances, but there was one part, the 18-minute time period based on one estimate, one expert in the field, that said your ability to consider multiple variables returns after 18 minutes. In that first 1 through 17 minutes, you're so focused on the one thing that poses a threat to your life or a threat to your career, you can't think about how, oh, that's so related to this other thing I studied and I should have mentioned that during a job interview. Or, oh, there's an easy way to resolve this conflict with the HR person, I should have mentioned that instead of just saying whatever I said. Okay, and then the last one was build context. What is that? What might you do with that? Or what does that mean? Somebody give us a sentence or two about building context. Jim.
There was a technique where you counted backwards from 100 to 0, 5, 3, so that you can actually get back into your cerebral sense.
Very good. Very good. Yes, that's a fantastic technique. Start thinking with your cerebral mind instead of just a reaction, a fight or flight reaction. And in terms of build context, it's just everything I've been saying. Think about the situation. Is this a life or death situation, or is this just someone doing their job? What's the context here? Am I being attacked by my best friend of 30 years, or did she just say something offhanded that got under my skin? Does that make sense? All right. So emotional hijack. We lose rational thought when we go into emotional hijack. We do not want to lose rational thought. Rational thought is our friend. It's what we build. It's what we try to use to enhance our careers, enhance our lives. We did some self-assessment things. We thought about what some of your triggers might be specifically and what you could do in those situations. We mentioned some dangerous environments, some dangerous relationships that you might encounter. We thought about some warning signs. I think Vanessa mentioned a good one. Her back got hot. Did she say that? Yeah. Wow. That is a good, detailed assessment of what might happen to you so you can recognize it when it's happening. And then I think one of the reasons why I've been able to, hi, how you doing? There's some snacks for us if either of you are hungry. The folks last session left them for us. So anyway, Vanessa said her back got hot before she goes into this emotional hijack. What an important key piece of evidence of how she can avoid an emotional hijack next time. It's all about thinking about what these triggers are and recognizing in those microseconds and how you can break that pattern, build the context, give yourself a little bit of the time you need. Warning signs, those are important. What else we got? Positive actions. All right, all this analysis doesn't do us any good unless we think about what should we do instead. Instead of saying to your boss, F you, instead of saying to your friend, I don't want to be friends anymore, what should you do instead? We came up with some ideas. And these are not necessarily a pattern or not necessarily a right or wrong answer for what you should do. We just rationally thought about some of the situations that you all have faced and thought about what you should do. And thinking about that ahead of time can prepare you for that moment. We did some social management reflection. We learned 2 techniques or 2 things to think about. One was this idea of interacting with people and using questions versus statements. What was the takeaway there? What was the important issue? Valuable insight you might have gleaned from that.
Or questions, it's like less likely to, it's more likely to engage the audience and less likely to cause an emotional hijack.
Perfect. So 2 things. Less likely to cause an emotional hijack and more likely to engage the audience. Now, why is it more likely to engage the audience?
Because if you're asking a question, then you expect some kind of response.
You expect some kind of response,
Yeah.
and gets them into their cerebral thinking,
Yeah.
their cerebral brain. And how can I have a healthy, mature dialogue with this person rather than how can I respond to something that might be an attack or a threat on my territory with this statement. we got? Okay. So what we're going to do today is think about how we can practice this. And I've just collected various games, various group exercises we can do that I've observed can cause some frustration and also challenge us to think about how we can communicate effectively when we pose just a little bit of fun kind of pressure to this. So the first thing we're going to start with is called the replication game. I'm going to have you break up into some teams and we're going to do a replication. So let me see, how many people we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2. We could almost have 3 teams. All right, no, okay, all right. All right, so we have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we'll have 2 teams of 4. There will be, okay, so how this is going to work. I'm going to give each team some materials. There's an envelope, a pen, a Post-it, and a paper clip. And I am going to go in the next room and I'm going to arrange these materials in a certain way. I may put everything inside the envelope, I may fold the sticky, I may do something with the paper clip. I'm going to arrange this in some specific way. And your team's job is to replicate that arrangement with the same materials in this classroom. You're going to be divided into certain roles. There will be one person from your team who is allowed to go look at the actual arrangement. There will be 2 people in your team who are allowed to go back and forth between who will go back and forth between a discussion with the viewer and a discussion with the builder. The builder is going to be able to ask, so there's 3 roles. There's the viewer, the runner, and the builder. The viewer is in the next room looking at the actual arrangement. The runner is going back and forth. And the builder is building the materials here in this room. The builder is allowed to ask the runner yes or no questions. And the runner is only allowed to say yes or no.
And the runners are not allowed to see the arrangement, like the viewer.
Correct. So the runner will be kind of like halfway. I'll put the viewer around the corner, and the runner will be halfway. And let's have 2 builders. Let's do that. Okay, so 2 teams of 4, and then in each team I need 2 builders, 1 runner, 1 viewer. So how do you want to do it?
Question.
Frank?
How can a runner communicate with the viewer? Also yes or no?
Yeah, no, you don't have to say yes or no. The runner and the viewer can talk normally. Yes.
The runner.
Okay, all right, so why don't you 4 be a team, and then you 4 be a team. So why don't you decide who's going to be the 2 builders, who's going to be the runner, and who's going to be the viewer, and then when you decide who the viewer is, send that person outside, and I will create this artistic arrangement with them.
Any preference? What do you think the vote?
Up to you guys.
Who's better at viewing?
One, two, three, four. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your kid?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's another classmate?
no.
Yes, you can see that. And that's what you say, take care. What's your Irish right now, I guess?
What happened today?
Well, he has fever, and I
Uh,
sent him today.
Oh, so you gave us the fever? Down there.
He has stomach virus again.
Now the kids are sick.
Right, and he, because he goes to daycare, he's from getting a virus.
All right, so I have 2 viewers.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Is this all oral? Could we
take notes, like write things down, or
Sure, you can take notes, write things down, you just can't show them to the builders.
just get, make a picture?
That's awesome.
Can't blame you for trying.
So we can write stuff down, but you can't.
You can't just like show them what to do.
Oh, you can't see it. Only the viewers.
Only the viewer gets to see it.
I'll be there, okay? Thank you. Until local project, okay?
I will come back.
Also study. His analysis.
All right. Builders are ready?
Yep.
So you may want to take your stuff and go over to the corner because you don't want to give the other team an advantage by seeing your stuff.
So we have to go.
We're gonna do here.
They have the same materials you have. Yeah, you right now. You go over. Did I take yours? I didn't take yours, did I?
So I.
Oh, no. Each team has one. Yeah, so that's yours. Sorry about that. No, don't take that. Take it from Eric. Take it from
Oh, yeah, four.
Eric.
Yeah,
Eric, so
four.
give, yes. So that's yours. So you're your team. So you want to go over here, and you guys want to work over here. And then your runners are about to come in and give you instructions. And they're gonna, all they can say though is yes or no.
Do we fold the, is it all folding or?
Possibly. You could ask them. You could just say, oh, is this
So we
folding?
don't know if it's folding paper or drawing pictures or, and it could be anything else.
It's not drawing pictures.
It's not drawing pictures.
It's just how is it arranged?
I'll arrange the four pieces together?
Yes. How do we put the four pieces together?
Oh, by the way, I met Yana on the way here. She had an interview in the city, so she cannot make the class.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually saw her jogging down Orange. Running through her interview. All right.
Okay. So we can only ask yes or no. It's about putting all the four things together. Do we put the pen in the envelope? Do we put this in the envelope?
It is. No. It's the same. So you can try to listen. You can try to listen.
Stick this out my envelope? In the, on this side?
No.
On this side? In the middle? On the side?
Time. One more. Hey now.
Do we pin anything up here? On the side? On this side? You pin it here? In the middle?
Good job. Not as bad. It's got to be a record.
Go grab a.
Again, see if you make it harder.
We save you running.
What?
We save you from running.
I'll give nice to
Doing a project.
This one's a fix up there.
Well, the lowercase is correct, but, yeah. Yeah.
You got it? Yeah. Oh, good job. All right, awesome. Awesome. All right, let's do a quick debrief. Then we're going to do it again because you all did that so effectively. I'm going to make it harder. So, what were your thoughts on the communication strategy? This team, you got it done pretty fast. How were you successful? Who was your hero, Josh? Levin?
Yeah.
Okay. Describe your strategy and how you were able to be successful, Jim.
I don't think I've actually part to it. I think their communication was a lot harder. I just told them what it was, and I think it's very difficult to describe.
I think the runner's job was harder because they can't communicate other than yes and no. So it was hard.
Okay. Okay, runners. Who were the runners? Jerry and okay. So what were your communication challenges there?
Because I couldn't tell them exactly what it was, even though I knew what it was, but I couldn't tell them because if it was the side, I couldn't flip it.
Okay.
I had to wait for them to know, ask me whether to flip it or not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was a little frustrating. All right. Well, you all did that so well. Let's do that same thing again, except let's make it more difficult. And now we have 3 teams, so you can evaluate the difference between 2 builders and 2 runners. So you sort yourself into teams of 3 now. Or I can. Fine. All right. So let's have you 3 be a team.
Yeah, Jerry.
Let's have you 3 be a team. And let's never know. Check that. So you 3 are a team. Priya, Natalie, and Jerry, you are a team. And you 3 are a team. Yes. Okay. So same thing. Let's get 1 builder. Stay here, grab your stuff.
Yes, you want to stay over? You want to run, you want to view the...
I can run or you can go.
Oh, okay. No, but then you need to know, so she just joined in, she doesn't know the rules of the game. Would you like to just walk her through the rules?
Why don't she not be the viewer,
Okay,
and the builder can explain the rules to her.
Okay.
And send me your viewer.
so I'll be the viewer.
Okay.
Josh, you want to be runners?
I'm the runner initially.
Okay. Okay, so I need 3 viewers.
What?
How old is he? 4. It's like this. Is he speaking English? Is this for us or is this for?
Oh.
Like from today or from last week? Hey, what's your name? Scott.
You're running.
Yeah? How old are you, Scott?
Well, you're not technically running, but like,
Why don't you school today?
ask her what you see and then you describe it to me. And then I ask her. I mean, you ask her what you see. And then when you come back here, I ask you about what you saw. So it could be yes or no.
Oh yeah? So what are you watching? Oh, that's fine.
I asked this yes or no question.
Oh, okay.
So you like home school better than middle school? Like that?
You change your hair.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, if I start.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Yeah? What's your room?
So you look.
Who's-
younger.
Yeah.
How do you like it now?
I got ID yesterday.
Did you shave?
Yeah, that's among other things.
Oh, I don't even know that.
No, shaved and haircut.
Oh,
Got her here. It's just good.
are you smart? This here? Apparently they left out from something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we good?
Yeah, you're good. Good to go.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, good to see you.
She's not here. So.
Oh, no problem. So just observe this. Yeah, observe
Okay.
this. 9, but now we have 10 for the next exercise, which should be great.
There's 3 groups, right? Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, 3 groups, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So you're building this, Helen? You're building this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're building this?
Right.
Excellent.
And I forgot which one. This, having a fever, and I said,
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
I hope you don't mind it.
No problem at all. It's more than welcome.
And this round is a little bit harder
Yes.
than the previous.
Yes.
Because you have more items, or you have?
More items. We may have deliberately tried to make things complicated. So Janine, you can just kind of observe, think about the communication strategies you're seeing. If anybody gets frustrated, think about how that might affect their strategy or their performance.
Okay.
What's happening is there's a viewer who's looking at this same arrangement of objects in some specific way. That person is taking that information and describing it to a runner who does not see the individual object. The runner is going to come in here and try to instruct each builder how to replicate this arrangement, and the runner is only allowed to say yes or no.
Let's do this.
Okay. All right. Ready? You have 5 items.
Yeah.
Do you have this in?
You have more questions?
I just got it.
Oh, okay.
The pen available?
No.
Is that local?
You still stick this on the floor?
Yes. No.
Stick on this side?
No. No.
On this side?
Sorry.
Do you have to go back out? I have remember.
Can I say yes
Put
or
it
no?
inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only say yes or no.
Stick on the envelope, but not on this side, not on that side. Now here?
Not inside,
Let's go back.
No.
Are we sticking this on the envelope?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
It's not on this side?
Jeff.
No.
It's not on this side.
Yes.
Right.
It's on this side,
Good
okay.
deal, right?
It's in the middle?
No.
It's on the side?
Yes. No. No. Yes.
Do we pen this? Pen on the envelope?
No.
Pen like this?
Yes.
Pen like this? Pen like this?
Yes.
In the middle? Pin in the bottom?
No.
Do we pin on the side here?
No.
Do we pin this on the envelope?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. We pin in the middle?
No.
We pin. Do we pin on the 4 lines?
Yeah.
Do we pin on the corner?
No.
Do we pin on this side? On this?
Yes.
Pin right here?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.
Okay. We pin this on the envelope?
Yes.
Do we pin on these 4 lines?
Yes. No.
Do we pin on this line?
No.
This one?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Pin in the middle?
Yes.
That's it? Put it on the table? We don't put it on the table?
No.
On the right side of
We
Yes.
we open this?
on the envelope.
Do we have to change the envelope?
Some good stuff, right?
Do I have to change the pen?
This
Pink?
is the perfect example. You just had to change your
Do I have to sit this on the table?
How can I make you
Does this envelope go on the table?
Yes.
Yes, or maybe no. Do I hand this on the table? Do I hand this way?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's it?
No.
I put it on the table. Do I move it?
No.
Which outside?
Yes,
Do I move to this side?
No.
Left side?
yes,
Is it off the edge?
yes.
It's not on the edge? Is it on the edge? Is envelope on the edge?
Yes.
On the left side of the envelope?
Yes.
All right, yeah, you guys can come
Drive.
and watch. Just didn't want you here in the beginning because sometimes you can get information
Is it all on
that
the
helps
edge
you
or come
describe
out?
how.
Should I move it out? All on the edge?
Yes.
It's flat or stand up? Is it flat?
Yes.
From my understanding, yes. Do I move anything else in the envelope? Do I move the pencil in the envelope?
No.
You are not done.
Everything else is perfect, just the way it lies.
No.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
the pen is in the right place.
Yes.
The post is in the right place.
Yes.
The pin is in the right place.
Yes.
The pencil is in the right place.
Yes.
The envelope lie on the edge. How do I line this that's different? Do I line it like this?
No.
Do I fold it?
Yes.
Fold the envelope?
Yes.
I fold this way?
Yes.
How do I fold this way? I fold it half?
No.
I fold
No.
sideways?
No.
I fold like this?
No.
I fold like this? I fold the envelope, but not,
No. No. No.
everybody sounds so.
Sticky note.
Uh,
Is it hanging off the envelope?
do I put this, do I stuck this in there? Do I stuck this in there?
Is the
I fold the envelope.
No.
I don't fold the envelope.
No.
Yes.
So what I'm supposed to do, I'm not folding the envelope.
on the edge of the
Put it on the edge,
Yes.
like this.
No.
Is it hanging on the envelope?
Yes.
Stay this way,
Yeah.
but it's now,
Yes. Yes.
do I go like this? No? Do I close this when I lie it?
Yes.
Lie like this?
Hanging like this?
Well, change the way the paint lies?
Yes.
Is it in the middle of the sticky note?
Yes.
Do I fold the corner?
No.
So I have all these things in the right place, just the way the envelope lies.
Oh, thanks.
Do I change the shape of the envelope?
No.
Do I fold? I don't change the shape. Do I change the position where I lie the envelope?
No.
Do I flip the envelope?
No.
So it's not about moving the envelope.
I want to see what happens if we offer
It's
like
not
a
about
huge
folding
incentive.
the
Like if you
envelope.
get this right in the next 30 seconds, how much cash do you have?
I was gonna say.
Do I write on the envelope?
A prize. Wait, there's no prize.
Sandwich.
Sandwiches. All right.
Knowledge is so hard.
All right.
I don't move
Both
the
can get
envelope.
this
I don't
in
fold the
next
envelope.
30 seconds, and we'll leave an hour early.
Oh, God.
30 seconds.
Does it fold the sticky note?
Yes.
Does it fold it?
In half, yes.
So you move the stick,
15 seconds.
the note,
Yes.
Okay.
and I fold them. Wrap them around the pen.
No.
Just fold them.
Mommy,
Yes, honey.
I want you.
I'll be here, honey.
Good, good, okay, good. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up. So what we're looking for is a folded sticky like this, and the pin on top.
Oh.
Yeah, good, good. So have a seat just right wherever you are. Let's talk about this very briefly before we move on to the next exercise. So there was some really fun stuff going on in there. I'm glad you did it a second time, because that I felt like brought up a little bit more excitement and a little bit more frustration. What were your thoughts on how that went communication-wise?
There's a point where I wasn't sure how to listen. They seemed like I was close, but it wasn't done.
Yeah. Okay. So what was it like? How she knew exactly what she wanted you to do, but you couldn't get that information from her? Frustrating.
Yeah.
All right. So what are your thoughts, the rest of the class, in terms of watching that? Did she just want to like say do it this
I
way?
almost wanted to step in.
Now, Livy had a couple interesting moments that I commented on. Can you tell us about those?
I think my main point that helped us succeed quite quickly was the way I was saying yes and no. Like a quick no was like you were totally in the wrong direction, but like a slow no was like, okay, you're in the right direction, just move the pen a little bit. So we were able to kind of move past those steps quickly.
Okay. Good, good, good. And I liked the point where you just blurted out, start over.
I felt like I said no to something that was going to make it like totally
No. Good, good. So those two teams that were left at the end, like what are your thoughts on those? What could we have told them about the communication strategy that would have been more effective? Or the people who were involved in it? What about the way you were communicating did you cricket? Good.
I think when I was observing both of them communicating, Jerry actually at one point, he went over every little thing.
Uh-huh.
The only thing he skipped was the posting.
Oh, okay. Oh, and I remember, yeah.
If
So,
he had said something about posted, I think Natalie could have pointed him in the right direction.
okay.
Although he got it at the end, almost there, but I think that was the whole thing that kept us going and going and going.
Okay. Good insight. And Eric, I remember there was a moment where Yang started saying, should I fold? Should I fold? And you're like, yes. And then she said, should I fold the envelope? And you said yes, maybe trying to get her to just fold something and see where we could go from there.
I just made one mistake about the envelope thing. Because you need to fold the poster, but you don't need to fold the
Okay, so
banner.
maybe you're just excited that she was folding something,
Yeah.
and then you said yes, fold the envelope.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, let's move on from that exercise. This next exercise is, I forget what it's called, space skip or something like that. We're going to use all 10 people. I'm excited about this because I've never done this with 2 teams of 5. So we are going to, essentially, we're going to come up in this line. Each person is going to be on one of these spaces. You're going to have 5 people on this side, 5 people on this side, and there is a space in the middle in between. The object, and everyone is working together, is to try to get the 5 people who are on this side over to this side, and the 5 people who are on this side over to this side in the same order. Now the rules are, you may step onto a space in front of you, as long as that space is open. You may also skip one person who is facing you, as long as the space behind them is open. And the other rule is you should always have both feet on some tape. So either one foot on one tape as you're stepping on the side, or 2 feet on one single space. Any questions? All right, so let's get you all. Yang's gone. All right. Let's see if Yang comes back. I want to do this with 2 teams of 5, but let's see if we have to do it with 2 teams of 4. We can. All right, so let's just get 5 people on the end facing this way. Or you just everyone grab a space. Everyone get on a piece of tape.
Okay.
Okay.
and see if Dan comes back.
Okay, all right, so,
One gap, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so let's, go ahead and this team, you all shift over one. Good, 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 and go ahead and pull up that tape, Levy, you and I are gonna watch.
What must I do?
Right, just pull up that tape, just pull it off the floor. Oh, all right. All right. All right, so Levy and I will observe.
She's back.
All right, are you ready to play?
Yes.
Are you good to play? All right. Ready for game day? All right, put the tape back. Okay. Good. All right, so you five are facing this way. You five are facing this way. So, your goal is to get all of you five in the same order over here, and all of you five in the same order over here. Rules are you can step on the space if there is space, and you can jump one person as long as there's space behind them. Makes sense now that you can visualize it?
We have to talk about it while.
You can talk,
Is
absolutely.
this our group versus their group, or is everybody
Team effort, team effort.
all 10, everybody?
Team effort, 2 feet on the table.
But now I can't direct because I'm all in the back. I'm trying to.
You can say whatever you want, you can lean, you can shout.
I mean, I guess if you take a step forward, then I can go around, and then another step, and they can go around.
Yep, perfect.
Scott. Scott. Scott, where you?
Get a pretty unit.
Bring it here. Yeah, and the medicine.
I think once we get everyone down, we
Bring it
can
here.
do it again.
Then we'll switch. Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Then everyone can take a step back.
Yeah, you can hold each other. And I get, yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
Now everyone
Okay,
can take a step back.
Take a step
No,
back.
no, you can only go forward.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So,
we have.
Okay, reset, try number 2.
There's no way we can go back.
So
I'm
then
sorry,
I'll
I forgot to mention
So as
that.
soon as Priya comes, another member of our team goes this way, and then it has to go back and forth, maybe?
So I can go, or me and Levy probably have to stop it back. So after
let me-
passes,
Wow.
or do you want to try coming in?
And the same order.
Yep.
Does that mean?
Yeah.
Does that mean where Josh is where Priya is, or where?
Josh is where
No, I'm
Eric
gonna be
is.
at the end.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay.
Okay, why don't you
Try-
come
try it that
forward?
way.
Then
Okay.
you go forward
You
and
go
Jerry
forward.
will come.
I think Jerry.
Oh, we
Yeah, you must
messed
go
it up. Anyway, we can't go back.
You go for it.
You can go back one group. And
Right.
Josh comes.
Can we like move one?
And
just
then-
one person? Yeah.
Justin
And
can
then,
go.
Okay.
Then what do? I go forward?
Yeah.
And then you
What's
guys,
this paper there?
Jared.
Yeah.
Did the string hand come up?
No, I think you should come
you just
first.
come
Yeah,
here.
Jared.
And then,
Yeah, I guess you. Can I go?
If you want to far back.
I guess.
no space.
No.
What happened? Is the space in the end now?
Yeah.
This we want here. You move
Okay,
here.
okay, I don't know if that fixes it.
Okay.
Hey, can I
And you
go?
go.
Yeah, now
You
we're
can
stuck.
go forward.
Now we're
Now you're
stuck. We're stuck. Now Josh hasn't.
I think,
I cannot go. but
I think before you go and he.
Where is the gap now? I
So
don't
we
know.
have to make sure the
Right.
gap is always in the middle, I guess.
No, right now the gap is right
Yeah.
before Josh.
Yeah, so that now we're stuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we do like one?
Not going
Can you go forward?
Do you want to?
Wait, can you go forward?
No, you
To the
can't
wall?
go back.
No, like,
You cannot go back.
is there space over there? No, you can't
There's
go
only
back.
one space.
Cannot go
He
back.
can't go back.
You can go
So
forward.
we're stuck.
Reset? Okay, reset, try number 3.
So we have to somehow keep a gap in the middle.
It's mathematically impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about just drop it?
Yeah, if you want to take a break and plan,
Yeah.
you can.
Because it work out the mathematics.
Actually,
I don't know how many draw. It's gonna be quite difficult.
Well, we're gonna get a little piece of paper and just
Yeah.
I will do it, Mommy.
Do we have, okay, let's maybe, do we have more post-its there? We can just bring it up.
You want to break it up into 10 people?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
Then why you can use this to give me the medicine? Here, wait with you.
How many ones?
Control the cameras on those, yeah, so we know which
It's time for me to take picture.
And then we have a gap. We have a box.
Just right circles, just right out around.
That's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that correct? So the smaller ones are on this side, okay? Just remember it's easy. And the bigger ones are on this side. So the bigger ones have to come on this side. That this is the gap. So we tried me going here with work. How about this person goes here? Let's try this one.
Then you want to draw numbers on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's gonna be
yeah.
And then you roll in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah, A, B, C, D.
Should I do it this way or this way?
No, so 8 is for 1. These are really important.
No. The second people cannot take the first step. So only the first one can take it. So, yeah.
We tried that. We tried that.
No, because the
No,
wrong
the server
people
is.
take-
But what's the problem? Why not? Well,
We can get one person all the way down, but then it's stuff in
You
the
one by one.
so we can't go back or pull them up.
That's P, that's 1, and that's the gap.
where's the
So,
We'll remember where the gap is. But where is Thank you, Ruth. Ruth, I remember how to do this.
And see.
No, but 4 and 5 is
Yeah,
back
but
here.
then we're still.
These two are stuck here. You can't.
See, the moment you move two, okay, you're not going to get the person out.
Exactly.
Okay? So therefore, let's do as follows. Let's just do this block here. can't be on the same
Right,
cross.
right.
We tried this one also, right?
Yeah, not very much.
Yes.
No, you can't. Look, is this there is correct? 1, 2, 3. Is that there right?
Yes.
Okay, you have 2 gaps.
Then this is that. And then you can go backwards in.
Yeah, no, we can send one person to the end, I'm not gonna do that.
Not, yeah.
Yeah, I'm of the, I think we're of the opinion that it's not possible. Yeah.
All right, let's try it with 4 people. Let's try it now. Yeah, you can do it with 4 people, I think. So, all right, so.
Okay,
let me-
fine, then-
So let me, why don't you and I, you, me, and Yang will watch, and,
We can, but I mean, the reason why we cannot, like, we work with a couple 4 times, so. I wouldn't say that.
all right, let's do this. Let's start with 3 people, and then we'll add the 4th, and then we'll stop after 4. All right, so just 3 people on each side.
Still one gap in the middle.
Yeah, still 1 space in the middle. Leave the 2 blank.
One more.
Okay, there you go.
Ladies first.
Wait,
No.
I should go up first.
Okay.
I'm
Then
here
we
to
start.
move.
No, you can still come.
You. Oh, no.
This is it. This is it. Let's try you come in. Yeah. And then I try to go in.
All right, so Priya is all set,
Yeah.
and you can move forward, Dan.
I can do it. No, we're stuck.
Okay.
So we got, we see,
As soon as you two went together, you guys.
Yeah.
Locked together.
Yeah.
Okay, so reset.
Maybe then.
Jerry?
Should you
no, but then let's screw up the order.
No, 'cause
If
You
Jerry
cannot
go
be first.
first.
Go there
I
and
mean,
you're finished.
he comes over and then I go. It's like,
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah.
Then?
And then you go first.
Okay.
But
And then you
And
come.
then you
No,
step.
as soon as you
No,
come,
no,
you're
no,
gonna
no,
block
no.
the
Yeah,
other.
exactly. It's the same thing
You're
on
gonna
this
block
side
right.
now. So we have to, so I think the problem is the beginning.
yeah.
So we have to think of a different strategy. That's why I feel that the second person should try to come in. Let's try that. Let's try that.
Come here.
Yeah.
We
got stuck fast.
I think you still the.
Still have to be.
What he moves first?
Who?
What he moves?
Okay, why don't you move first?
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
And then you move.
But it's the same, we're gonna get
It's the same
stuck.
idea.
So the first step you must do
Oh.
this. Okay, and then I'll move back.
Ooh, okay.
Never mind.
No,
Okay.
you blocked her. Oh, no, you blocked
No,
her.
no, he doesn't.
Hold on, you blocked her in. No. Oh, you had
No, they're facing the opposite, so then you
This is how we were before. This is how we were
Go.
before.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
go.
Freya
Come on.
go.
Yeah, you go.
Freya go.
And then.
Hold on, hold on.
No,
You
No,
goes first. Her?
Jerry, come in.
No.
No.
Jerry goes, you're gonna block her.
Oh,
No, no,
then
but
you
she
go.
has space in front.
No, same.
No, well, nobody can come in. She has to go. Otherwise, she's stuck here.
I understand, but we stuck. Because if
Yeah,
you
stuck.
go, then blocking
Yeah,
Jerry.
okay.
But we got one step further than we did last time.
Yeah. Let's try again. Let's reset again.
Just
So
the
kind of working.
school.
You come first, right?
Okay.
And then what was the thing?
You
I go.
Yeah.
Okay. And
And
then
then
Jerry,
move forward.
And then you move forward.
you move forward.
And then Jerry goes around.
Right, all right.
Wait. No.
Do I move forward?
What if you came up?
Yeah, you come and let
No,
her
you must come up before.
Me.
Before.
Yeah, even if now
No,
Jerry
she
comes
can't.
in.
No, it's the same.
No, hold on. If Jerry moves here, then she comes here and he moves.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as Jerry moves forward. Yeah,
Um,
we stuck here now. Hold on, Frank, move forward. This is what we
Frank?
did last time. Frank moved
Yeah.
forward and then we
Yeah.
got stuck.
But what Frank moves forward and she moves on? Then she can move behind her.
Yeah, but then the space is behind me.
No,
Neither one of us can move backwards.
So she can move on.
Can you move once? No.
No, Frank move forward. You go back.
Let's see.
Oh no, then,
No,
yeah.
then he-
Then
it's
you
the
go
same
there
thing.
and then you
Neither
go
one.
Okay,
back.
how about you come forward, then I go behind
Yeah.
And then I keep going forward.
No,
Just
no,
go, go.
And then
Jerry goes.
Have him go. Have him go, and then just.
Oh wow, look at this.
Go.
Look at
And
this.
then you move on.
You move one step, yeah.
Right.
Fantastic.
Do you want to try that with 4 people?
Does anyone remember?
So there was that one bottleneck that she has to move.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do the 4. But I'm not going to. This is a fun game, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
She's the best.
No,
No,
two
no,
steps.
you guys all move up one.
Yeah, you all have to move.
There you go.
Yeah, so you come in first, then I go. Then you move one forward, right?
Yeah.
Then Jerry go, you go, Frank, and then I go.
No.
Jerry.
Not yet,
Hold
not
on.
Jerry.
Jerry.
No, Jerry. Either way, you guys are gonna block it.
We lost it again.
What did we
If I
do?
move up, you can move up.
You can't have 2 people facing different directions.
No, you move, then,
If who's
How
gonna
would you move up?
If Jerry moves, he's gonna be behind you. That's it. We block.
what did we do last time? Documentation is important. What are we doing?
I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. You can't have 2 people
It's only
facing
like
opposite
this.
directions. No, maybe you can. Forget it. Go. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, go. First.
What? No, that's okay, that's okay. Then you go.
Oh, I will go.
Yeah.
Frank.
Frank, go.
Um,
No.
I think she moves
No,
No, you
Freya,
move,
go
you move
forward.
here. And then
Yeah.
I go behind.
Okay.
Jerry.
No, and then we have to move her, otherwise she's stuck, okay?
Well, the only way to move her is you go.
Well,
Move.
she
No, but
goes
if she goes
up. I go
behind.
up and then
No,
she-
if you go behind Frank, we step.
No, how about she moves one
No.
and then Frank comes, no, Frank is.
Jerry has to go
Jerry,
first.
Jerry come first.
Now.
Helen has
Then I go.
No. Yeah, I think Helen has to
Yeah,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Frank, you can go. Okay, hold on. Now. I don't know her name. Natalie. Well, I think Natalie, right? Josh, are we good?
Yeah, I think.
No, Franco.
No, yeah, I think.
No, Frank can't go, because I cannot
He
go.
can go.
Oh.
If
Okay, how about
Oh, we forgot about
Two
you.
people.
Sorry, mate. So you go. No. Oh. Ooh.
No,
No,
I
we stuck.
now we're
because
stuck, yeah.
because I forgot.
Let's try again.
Yeah, you shouldn't have went for. Yeah, you should have let him count. I don't know what.
I'm gonna sit this one. I'm gonna try to play with this.
Well, we need somebody there. We need a fourth. Scott. Okay. Scott, do you want to stand over there? Oh, you want to stand over there? Okay, so now you go. No, okay. Okay, Scott, you there. Great. Okay.
So she comes first, right?
I think Scott should have one in front.
Okay, Josh, you're the stand by. Josh, you stay in here.
You sit in front, I will sit back.
So Josh comes first, right?
Either or.
First. Now I go around.
Yeah, you have to go around.
And then Frank comes forward.
I'm not sure. What did you guys do before?
No, I moved one step forward,
But
right?
if he comes forward, then you can go around.
No. If
No.
you can't.
He has to
No. If you go forward, no. Frank must go forward first.
Okay, Frank come forward.
Now you go over to Frank.
So it has to be one by one. Okay?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, no, two facing the same person
Right.
can't be
Yeah.
behind each other.
Okay, now Jerry comes. Now,
No, I'm going
I think
forward.
you go one
No,
forward.
hold on. I'm not sure if she goes before.
No.
No, why not?
If I go for,
And then he jumps over you. I'm not sure. Because, yeah, and then
Then Franco.
Frank go.
Frank goes.
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't.
go,
Jerry.
Jerry go.
No, then Pierce
We
does.
said Jerry. We need like 3 people before anybody
Yeah,
moves over here.
then Natalie moves,
Natalie.
right?
Yeah. Okay, Natalie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now one of them, no,
Where
I
you
have
go?
to move forward.
Just trying to think if no.
Yeah, and then
She must
Jerry.
no. You must move.
Oh, you move
You move
forward.
forward.
Then I go
Yeah.
around her.
Okay, Priya's done. No.
And then you go around.
Now Jerry go.
Jerry goes here.
Okay, now hold on.
Now I move up and she comes
yeah.
up.
Yes.
She has to go first.
Or
Frank, no,
if
Frank,
Helen
Helen
joins.
go is
Yeah,
okay.
no, Helen must go.
And then I go.
Helen go.
Then I go.
Okay, good.
And,
Josh moves
go.
one forward.
Right, Josh, in your place. Okay, good.
Okay.
Frank.
No, Natalie go
Now
now.
Helen come.
Okay, hold on. Now. No, hold on. Yeah, you.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
I can move
Now
on.
you can
Jerry
go.
move up.
Oh, wait, right there.
And Helen
Now you
comes
can
on
go.
this side.
Now you can go. You can go. Oh, yeah.
Got it.
Good job. All right, have a seat. Excellent.
Did it. We did it. Yes.
So you all are so polite. That is my first thought about the way you work together. You work together effectively as a team. Why I choose this one is because sometimes people get so frustrated, and they get frustrated that people aren't listening to them. They get frustrated that it's not working out. And when everyone is in a line, there's an interesting thing that happens where it's like the person on the edge will like know and don't want to be listening. And I've actually seen a punch thrown during this exercise. So good job working it out, and good job using good communication strategies that essentially did not result into any destructive team dynamics. I think that's the interesting takeaway from this exercise that you all did. I was a little lax on the rules there at the end with Levy sitting off on the edge, because I could totally see you, Levy, as being the person on the side, like, no, listen to me. But he had a vantage point where it seemed like you all were more likely to listen to him because he could direct traffic effectively. Any thoughts in terms of how you communicated effectively, or any frustration points where you maybe used some EQ skills?
I think it's a lot harder to use EQ skills maybe like in this kind of environment where it's like you just like working like on a quick reaction.
Uh-huh.
Or at least for me, like if I like start thinking, okay, how am I going to communicate this? You just tell the person no or whatever it is.
Okay, yeah, and like I said, you all did that very effectively, but I've seen, sometimes when there's two people who want to lead, then their frustration happens, or if one of those people is in the middle and no one was listening to him, Josh.
Well, I mean, I think to the degree, I think the frustration was always pointed at the problem itself and the exercise, and it wasn't about each other.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good point. Do you have a comment, Greg?
Now, I was just going to say that it was a little bit of an advantageous situation for her because then you could sit here and view. You kind of have like a visual organization cue. As opposed to, it's hard when you're standing there in line and trying to arrange.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
want the documentation. And the first time we did it and then we lost it. Yeah.
I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. So like I said, I was a little lax on the rules because we started out with such a challenging piece. I've never done it with 5 people, but I did do a quick online, and I saw a solution for 6 people. So it's at least possible up to 6 people. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be possible up to an infinite number of people, right? As long as you follow that strategy, it just gets more and more complicated as you add one person. So let's move on to the next set of stuff. These I call see it my way exercises. I'm going to pose a couple of questions, and I'm going to have you all pair up and essentially try to convince the other person that your point of view is correct. And we'll see how you can use questions, how you can use a good dialogue to woo that person over to your side. So, the first see it my way question is a math problem, or a graph problem. I'm going to pull this up for you. Get the light off as I searched the internet for traffic jam solutions. It's a game called Traffic Jam. Did you think it was fun? A little bit? A little fun, a little frustrating? Alright. Here is a graph about how many hours of television Americans view each week. On the horizontal axis, we have number of hours each person views, or each person who was surveyed in this survey responded. This is how many hours of TV I view. On the vertical axis, we have the percentage of respondents who answered that way. So, how many hours viewed weekly by Americans? 10% of respondents said I view 0 hours, 1 a week. 20% of respondents said I view 1 hour per week. 50% of respondents said I view 2 hours per week. 30% said I view 20 hours per week. For purposes of this graph, this exercise, assume no one said anything besides 0, 1, 2, or 3. Does that make sense? Question for you all. Based on the data in this graph, how much TV does the average American watch per week? Think silently to yourself. See if you can come up with an answer, and then we will circle back and see what answers we have in about a minute or so. Based on the data in the chart, how much TV does the average American watch per week? Is everyone ready with their answer? Does anyone need more time? Okay, so let's see. What are our answers? What do you got?
I have to.
No answer? Eric?
1 hour and 48 minutes.
1 hour, 38 minutes?
48.
1 hour?
48 minutes.
1 hour, 48? Okay. What else we got?
2 hours.
2 hours? Okay, so Levy, why don't you come over here? 2 hours. Anybody who wants to join Levy in 2 hours? 1 hour is 48 minutes. Go over and join Eric. What else we got? No other answers? Ellen?
I got 1.8.
Okay, 1.8, come over here.
1.8 would be the same.
Okay. Okay, so Eric, why don't you stand over in the corner and start a corner over there? Okay. All right, so we have 1.8 and 2 hours. Is there anyone else who has a different answer? Okay, so if you are sympathize with one of these two answers, then go stand with that person. Otherwise, maybe just come over here for an undecided group. Undecideds will be over here. 1.8 in that corner, 2 hours over here.
Oh, yes. Hey, Jen, where you going?
All right, who's undecided? Okay, one undecided. Undecided? Okay, so you're both undecided? Okay, so the goal for the 1.8s is you want to try to get everyone to come over and stand in your corner. The goal for the 2s, you want to get everyone to stand in your corner. And we'll take a mental note of how many people you have now. So, however much you can improve your numbers is better. So if you improve your numbers more than they improve your numbers, then the 2s win. If the 1.8s, if you can improve your numbers more than the 2s, then you win. Does that make sense? All right, so you can come over and try to convince the undecided people. Or you,
I want to convince them.
or you could walk all the way across and try to convince the 1.8s. Whatever your strategy is.
Basically, I think many of you may have misunderstood the question. The question is not how many hours on average do Americans watch. We're talking about the average American. The average American, you've got 50%. That's your average American. That's the biggest number. And they watch 2 hours. So we're not talking about on hours, the average of the hours. We're talking about the average American. So I understand you guys may have slipped up a bit, but now with that clarification, I think this is the correct way to view the question. Okay. What do you guys think? You want to come?
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. Okay.
I agree with you.
You agree with me? I appreciate that. You're not agreeing with me, you're agreeing with the statement. What do you say?
I'm convinced.
Agrees with me, great.
I'm still undecided.
You're still undecided. Well, think about it.
It's average Americans, not
Yeah.
average hours.
Yeah. And then based on this data, 50%, that's the average American. Can't really question it. What's, Josh, what's the hesitation?
Well, I think this is just a mean versus median question.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm not, I understand linguistically where you're coming from in terms of the question, but I don't know if I agree that that's what's being asked, even though I understand what you're saying. Trust me, I do. The way I always read a question like that, and the way it usually ends up when they're talking about these things, is not median, but mean, which is the 1.8. So that's why, although I understand why, at first blush, especially when it's presented on a chart like this, where you see that big 50% spike.
Isn't the mean a little? That could be 1.5. There's three. There's average, median, and mean. So the mean is
Yeah,
in the middle. So it would be 1.5 because you take, since there's 4, you take the middle one. Then the median would be the, I don't know which one's which actually. It would be 1.8. But it's really.
I do what I'm doing. I'm not moving to your group. I'm moving to undecided because I think the question is vague.
Okay, well I think the question is, no, the question is absolutely designed to be vague. That's why we have the two groups. Consider this.
I agree with George.
Consider this. The question is designed to make you think twice. So the question, the way we've designed it is you automatically think, okay, yeah, you do all the calculations, it's 1.8. But you've got to always give that double take. And the way we're supposed to be thinking is actually, hold on. Oh, let me read this 100% correctly, and then let me get to. So the fact that most people thought like this is actually proof. Most people thought the 1.8 is actually proof that the real way you're supposed to be thinking about it, because it's not supposed to be an easy question. It's supposed to be like a little bit of a trick question. You with me, Jared?
Are you convincing me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I haven't got undecided.
All right, so let's take a stop at this point. So let's get the 2s back in this corner, 1.8s in that corner, undecideds here. Let's see where we are. So go ahead and pick one of those 3 spots, or if you came up with a different answer. Okay, so now we've got, no one is standing in the 1.8 corner. We've got 4 undecideds, and we've got a good chunk of people in 2. So let's take another 2 minutes to make your final decisions about where you want to be, and then we'll conclude and discuss the exercise.
By the way, I'm open to hear your arguments.
Well, no, what I was saying is that now as a member of the undecided group, I think this is the proper place to be because of the vagueness of the question, and the fact that there's legitimate debate to be had about where they're pointing you in this question, and whether it's meant to be one way or another is unclear. And I think if it's meant to be a trick question, then that all the more makes this a good place to be in terms of undecided, because that lets us understand it from both angles.
I think your point is correct on undecided. Hold on, Freya.
I think we're gonna be.
To cast? No.
Okay.
Let's not trick ourselves. Absolutely, this question can be viewed in 2 ways. We're all MBAs over here. It's not about right or wrong. It's about making a decision based on the data that you have. So the fact that there is 2 camps is right. There's no wrong answer to it if you do a test. But the point over here is to make a decision. It's not to. We all agree. We all could state openly that that it could be viewed both ways.
Oh, but I think this is a decision. It's a decision to recognize it from both ways.
But if everybody made that kind of decision in life, well, we could go both ways. Where would we be? You have to say, yeah, we could go both ways, but I have to choose.
But I'm on the side of additional questions, and I would want to talk if I made the graph, and then I could determine which way I should lean. But until I know more information, I have to stay where I am.
I think what is the definition of average? To me, I mean, that's not clear.
I see you want to come over here, so just ask questions.
Because I'll point out something, because let's say I don't watch any TV and Josh watches like 24 hours. I mean, which one is the average, right? You can't put it in the center and pick the mean or the mode. So the question here is very vague.
My problem with the interpretation that 50% being the definition of average is that suppose you have 2 bars, right? You have only two options or 2 situations where people either watch 1 hour or 2 hours. So you have 50-50. Which one would be the average then? You have to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you have to average out the actual hours divided by the population.
In that case, you would say the average is between 1 and 2 because that's what it is. If the data was so, but the data is not so.
Why do you think so?
Because the data shows clearly that 50% is your average American is going to fall into that 50% bar.
That's a maximum.
What do you mean that's the maximum?
But I have a question, and like, let me just, if this wasn't 50%, this was 49%, you would start doing averages.
We still consider average. I mean, this is a matter of principle.
Yeah, is it truly a matter of a majority issue?
Yeah.
No, I think it's a majority over the rest of the
That's still not the majority. Okay. But how we interpret the data shouldn't change when the actual number is different.
Well, I mean, and just to
no, as I said,
as a first matter, if it wasn't 2, if this went on to like between 0 and 10 hours, and it was only, the highest percentage one was 21%, does that become the average American then?
Yeah, the average, that's my point that I'm trying to say to you, that the average, it's not based on number 50.
So you're going by the maximum.
It's based on, and it's a very significant.
No, yeah, but I don't think that can be, because like in the example where there's a lot of them, just because one group has, a 1 or 2 percentage point doesn't make them the average of all. That's actually only a small percentage of Americans. So to get an actual average, you're going to have to go back to math, which either puts you in our undecided camp or over in the 1.8 camp.
And the other thing is,
I think I think the fact that it's 50% for sure shows on an average.
That's not average. That's a maximum.
Why is it the maximum? It could be 60, it could be 70, it could be 80.
No. The data shows here that 50% of Americans view 2 hours of TV time. So that's like the maximum. Again, you see, there is like boundaries. 20% watch 3 hours. So, that's not the average. You can't go by the maximum. That's my point.
All right, let's take 30 seconds and then go to your final decision point.
It's average because it's 50%. Okay, that's the final statement.
we shouldn't change our way of interpreting the data just because of the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, whatever we decide should hold true regardless of what this graph showed or if graph were changed, the thought methodology should be applicable the same way, that should come with whatever the same result is. And the fact that even a little bit of changes to this graph changes kind of your approach, and you have to go to a different method, I think that's why people should either consider it undecided
If the graph,
and acknowledge the ambiguity
Go
of
to
it,
your,
or
make your final decision at this time and go to wherever you
You're gonna go
stand.
convince
Okay,
myself.
excellent. All right, so we've got a group of people in two. Oh, 1.1,
1.8.
1.8er. Okay. All right, any last minute changes?
Well, because that's the only way it's consistent. If we interpret the meaning of average American as being a numerical, thing, then that way we don't have to change our interpretation when the data changes.
Okay, good. All right, so let's everyone have a seat and let's think about how we did this. So a couple interesting things I want to comment and discuss on before we get to what was the quote-unquote right answer. Let's talk about convincing strategies. Let's talk about the dialogue that was used for convincing. What are your thoughts on what worked well and what didn't work well? Levy.
well, our first strategy was to actually walk over there.
Okay.
If I would have stayed there, I think it would have strengthened us versus you. That was just one strategy I employed.
Okay. Yeah, that was interesting, the way you convinced a good chunk of people to at least move off. And I noticed a couple of things that Levy said that were interesting. One, he started his statement with, all right, I think you guys may have misunderstood.
Yeah.
And then he explains, and he says, so you may have slipped up on this. Does anyone want to change? Now, that surprised me how well that worked. Was anyone offended by those two statements? I think you may have slipped up. I think you may have misinterpreted the question. Yeah?
I feel Josh is saying that this question is tricky. Maybe it's a better way to say it. So it's more about the question, the way the draft is tricky rather than saying just split up on the question.
But still, it worked. So maybe something about the power of persuasion and the confidence with which Levy said that was an interesting point. Josh?
That's what I was going to say. I think Levy came out of the box very strong and very confident in his position, and that just as a very kind of unambiguous opening. Even though we're talking about ambiguity, he came out. He was very sure. He was very he came right up to everyone. Was like, look, this is what it is. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. I think it's a very appealing or convincing way of approaching things.
Okay. I'm free.
I think the confidence was really great, the way he opened up, but I'm not sure if as a manager, if my manager comes up to me and says that if I were I would be cautious a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, I've never seen quite a clear example of that. Something that I thought would offend most people and was so successful.
It's a different environment.
Yeah. Okay, and so another interesting thing about speaking of different environment is I usually give this question with people who are not business students. It's just kind of general audiences for the most part. And you had a very interesting interpretation of the numbers. I think everyone got quickly to the numerical average of 1.8, but your question was just into, is this a trick question? And what is being asked? And I honestly had never really thought of that. And to your point, I'm going to think about how I could clarify this question, but the answer I was looking for was the 1.8. And like I said, often people will just look at this and they won't even look at the wording like the average. But I'm moved by Levy's argument, the average. What do y'all think? Do I need to change the wording of that question, or to Zhenning's point, is the way this question is worded, is it correct? And the only way to consistently answer this question is with the 1.8 answer? Yeah?
I don't think so. If I was doing the same thing to argue with myself, if I change the 50% to 40 and maybe have a 30%, what is the average? There's no, if that's the case, there's no obvious average. There's no 50%, but the number will still, numeric average.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I was a little worried until that argument came up. I'm like, oh gosh, did I get this wrong? Yada yada. And Jing now saved me really. He's like, well, what if there's 50% was 1 and 50% was 2? What would the average be then? And Yang just expanded that argument. Josh?
I think maybe instead of asking how much TV does the average American watch, is how many hours a week, or what is the average number of hours a week watched by Americans?
That's not, oh, that's weekly.
Average number, okay. Yes, yes. Good point. So question for you, Letty. Was there any point where you were slightly swayed to change your answer?
They had good arguments when they came out with what they were saying, if we change the numbers, we change the chart. I don't think I was swayed. I think I'm still going to ask the question. If that's what you were hoping for, then what would be the other view? If we were to reword it quite clearly, because I think the ambiguity is in the. I thought the ambiguity was in the question. But if you're going to reword it clearly, then what would be the two sides?
Well, I'll tell you that the main thing that happens are people that just don't understand the math of what average is, and they think, oh, you're just going for 50%, that means average. There's no mathematical definition of average, and typically what happens is only a few people will know that, and they'll say, all right, this is the mathematical definition of average, you should come over and talk to me. Sometimes it's a really smart analytical person that doesn't have the best convincing skills, and I've actually seen situations where there's one person in the 1.8 corner, everyone else is in a different corner and saying, come over to the 1.8, come over. And the 1.8 person's like, no, I can't, because that's what the definition of average is. So I'll think about how I could word this for smart business students like yourselves to avoid that confusion. That was also an interesting point you brought up, that the fact that you all chose 1.8 is proof that it's wrong, or proof that you're in the wrong spot. Any other comments on that before we move on to the next exercise? Yeah.
I want to explain that when I went to 2 hours corner, because I did a round calculation, I actually exclude the 10%. I thought they don't watch TV, so they're not a TV viewer. If you do that math, it's still like, it's the same as 2 hours. That's why I went to that at first. But I did it again. I kind of tricked myself at first.
Okay. Good. All right, let's move on to one more, and then we'll take a break after that. We've got one more see it my way exercise, which is a little more ambiguous. You'll look at this one and you'll say there's definitely not a right or wrong answer, and you'll just have to rely on your convincing skills. This is an example that I was inspired to create as Donald Trump rose to prominence as a politician, and people began questioning his business skills and the ethics of a couple of bankruptcies that he was involved in. So I did some research in terms of what actually happened with these 4 bankruptcies that Trump was involved in. And the information was a little bit hard to come by, but I've pieced together something that I think is a clear story for us to think about and evaluate. And there'll be one question that I want you to answer, summing up all this information. So let me take you through the points that I've collected. So, point 1. In 1991, Trump Taj Mahal entered Chapter 11 bankruptcy with an estimated $1.4 billion in debt. Now, $900 million of that debt was personally guaranteed by Donald Trump himself. So, 1991, his Trump Taj Mahal goes into bankruptcy. They owe 1.4. Donald Trump had guaranteed $900 million of it himself. Point 2. According to the Washington Post, although Trump owned hotels, skyscrapers, casinos, and an airline, his debts exceeded the value of his properties by hundreds of millions. So he has $900 million personal guaranteed debt, and he has various hotels, casinos, yada yada, that aren't worth anything near what he owes. Trump could have been taken to personal bankruptcy court, and he would have lost all of his wealth, most likely. However, the Trump Taj Mahal and other projects, for the Taj Mahal and other projects, the creditors had lent Trump so much money, a total of $3.4 billion, that if Trump went bankrupt, the banks that lent him the money might have gone bankrupt as well. So, Trump convinced the creditors to lower his personal debt by $750 million, i.e. from $900 million to $750 million. And lower the interest rates on outstanding debts to a level that Trump Taj Mahal could afford to pay. As a result, Trump was able to avoid personal bankruptcy court, and Trump Taj Mahal remained open to continue to pay its debts. Josh?
Is it, they lowered it to 750 million or by 750?
By 750 million. So it was 900, and it was lowered to 150, I guess. So the question for you to consider is, should Trump have been made to face personal bankruptcy court? Anyone have questions about any of this information first? All right, so take 20, 30 seconds, come up with an answer for this question. Should Trump have been made to face personal bankruptcy court? Okay, does everyone have an answer? All right, if you think yes, go over in this corner. If you think no, go over in that corner. If you're undecided, come into this corner. Yes is over there. No's by the door. Undecided's in the middle here. Okay. All right. So where are you at, Yang?
No.
No, yes, undecided.
I'll go undecided first.
Okay. So, all right. So same game. So we have 2 over here. If you can increase your numbers, then the yeses win. No's, if you could increase your numbers from 5 to 6 or 7 or 8, 9, 10, then you really win. So let's take a few minutes and see if you can come up with a good discussion strategy, a good persuasion tactic to get people over to your corner. Same thing for the yeses. See if you can get people over to your corner. So I will let you freely intermingle and discuss.
This is where I feel as a board nurse, if I owe anyone, I am on the line for that. I have to pay my debts, right? Why is he not in the same boat? Exactly. 2 banks that have extended their rights to credit Trump as.
The reason
We
I
don't
think
exist
that
anymore.
he should have done
Make
the
it past the
bankruptcy
session if they were
court
not
is
that
because let's say
kind of
if I
risk.
have a debt,
So that's
you
why
know,
I
general public has
should
like,
pay
have to
that.
pay your debt.
Are you guys on the
Otherwise
fence?
you run into risk of not having any
I'm not
more
convinced, but if that's the case, then why
loans
the
and
US
things
government?
like that. Because the
Say one
general
big
public, if I have
They
it,
could just go back to
not
this
all
one.
of them have already
I think
worked
there's one
that
that doesn't exist
can
anymore.
take a
Not
business
one of them, but
forward.
I think you have
And
to
it's
take
not,
one.
it's not like, you know, hundreds of dollars, only hundreds and $200 of dollars.
Have a bigger individual, you have a
Why
big
you should
impact to the whole system.
not have
I accept what you're saying, but I think the important thing to, and again, this is what I'm saying, is that as much as I don't like Trump, and I find that, it's easy to
Well,
like, give him a hard
because I
time.
work also, when I'm working
And there's no
in my
question he got
industry, there's a
degree of
bankruptcy
special
restructuring all the time, so
That's
I
how
don't
I
have to,
paid.
that
But the
extra,
point of this
I don't have
is,
to say
in
bankruptcy is
terms
always
of
next.
kind of
You always
immediately
work on big
facing the
interest,
question
which
of this
have to
personal
be
bankruptcy,
difficult.
it was a business decision by the banks
I agree
to
with you.
do what they could to try and keep their doors open, and it's a matter
Well,
of
the fact is,
contract.
it's also built in the application, I mean, I
And
think,
if they have
I don't know,
terms
looking
in
for
their
a
contract
contract
with him
the
to
county
allow for
will
this,
issue from
and
the
they
top.
did it, you may say, well, that's unfair, they wouldn't change it for
And
me.
the idea is
But
that
unfortunately for you, but it's a matter of, that's, it's unfair, but it's not illegal, and it's not, it's
to
within
allow
their
the
rights to
public
do so.
progress.
Because if
There
they
isn't
owe,
that-
if you
there
owe them
isn't-
so
there
much
isn't that
money,
bankruptcy
that you going
option,
under
the
would have
people
meant them, then they
are
probably would have
afraid.
done the same thing
So
for you.
the
It's not,
business people always
No,
can
but the
become
thing is, you know,
personally
let's say
liable.
you
So
own
that
a house
the
that you
bankruptcy
can't pay your
was
mortgage.
brought in that
And the banks
it
come
allows
after
a common
you
grant.
and
Grant
they
doesn't
foreclose your
afford
house and
sometimes
things like
people
that.
lose out, but that's more
Which is only like, let's say,
less than 1%, just kind
$200,000
of
worth
there's
of
no
property.
question, but this is the nature of better or worse, the countries that if you had a really, really nice house, they'd probably work with you to make things, because they don't really want to own, no bank really wants to own a house, like, that's not their business.
Come on, even the personal debt, bringing it down by so much, I can understand that when you get a little bit of relaxation, it seems like here, he was like giving so much special treatment, which is
So at
really
that point, it's quite
unfair
clearly,
to
it's
the
quite a
rest
clear
of the
decision to say,
public.
look, as much
It
as
was
we
like, you know, I can
personally
take
bankrupt,
that
if you go
for
bankrupt,
the other
thousands of
part
other
of the
people will
debt,
suffer
the
as well.
banks can come and say, hey, we will
So
work something out.
you have to look at it like
But
that.
the
and say,
personal, I
okay,
have
like,
a problem with the
and
personal.
kind of from the next point, yeah, obviously banks will be more careful in the future.
The law school, I know how it is,
I don't
like,
know.
that,
I don't
this isn't even a joke, I was good at it. But the fact of the matter is that things like contracts control, and if the language of the contract allows for this.
We don't know what's
And the two
more.
sides, I don't know, all I know is that if it happened, and,
But do you
the
think
courts
it's
didn't
fair
actually.
or
Economic environment of America, but at the
Then
end
you
of the day,
can
it's
probably
created
think
more
about
jobs.
whether he
Spread
deserves that
thousands
or
of
not.
jobs.
And this is where it's hard because when you go to law, they really break you with this whole concept of fair.
But you
You
have to
can't
make
look at things as fair or
rational
not fair. You
decision.
can look at it as it matches the language of the law, or the language of a contract, or it doesn't. The fact that it's
You're gonna hold the
unfair.
person liable,
Would say that
they're gonna
just
force
in
the
case
bankruptcy.
you fail, they
Okay,
will
yes,
do
you cause
that
them much
and
pain.
let you
You
only
got it.
pay
It's not- but
150 billion and
Here's the thing is that I'm sure it didn't say that, but I'm sure what it said is something to the effect
And
that
so,
the bank
it's
has
a little
the
ethical
right,
question,
because it's
like,
their money, to
you know, maybe have an
either
ethical
relax
question,
or
like,
change the
okay,
terms
whose
based
side do
on
you take?
what is beneficial to them.
And,
Because that's the type of thing.
I think one of the
And so what
theories
happened is
is,
a business, as a pure business decision, the bank said, look, we can go down with the ship, we can,
Yeah,
as a principal matter, because it's fair.
that was something it's for, or one of the theories, the greatest good for the greatest man. That's what it is. So you got- yeah.
I feel that there was so much between all this high level influential
But for me,
people,
I'm not-
so much
I'm not-
politics and
Okay,
so much
this is what I think, I think you're letting the distaste for Trump color the situation.
going on there that
But that's the thing, on that part, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
The bank side?
I would have loved, nothing would have kind of made me happier than to watch Trump in that effect. Would have been- The fact of the matter is that as a business decision, as a matter of contract law, it's not that way where you can look at it and say, it's like, I can shutter my business, my bank, and let it go under because I really don't like Donald Trump. Or I can take less money, a lot less money, and put it, we can stay open, I can come back to work tomorrow.
I mean, think about all this now, a lot of other politicians who are contesting against Trump, they're bringing all these things up.
All right, let's do a quick temperature check. Why don't everyone gravitate back towards their spots in the next 30 seconds or so, and then we'll have another quick finish-up round.
So do we have any person who's ready to move to, yes,
Bank policy,
or no?
which obviously.
I didn't say that. You sure you don't want to stay? Not feeling more comfortable? Now that we all don't like Trump, but we're just acknowledging the reality is that.
Banks lending out responsibly, all banks are lending according to the same regulations. They're all.
But I don't really have that trust in
So they're all under the same
banks
regulations.
either,
Where those
Because
regulations
we
are.
have seen in the
the
past
question
that
should
they
be, should banks be
do
lending out?
things
Yeah.
based not only on the
But
business front,
the fact is,
they
in
do a
the
lot of
environment
things
that we're
behind
in,
the
99 to
business
1,
front.
should,
And
should they put down
like, it's one of those funny little things that it's like the SEC, Securities and Exchange. All those people used to be the CEOs of banks and things. Like, so when they write the rules, when they even enforce the rules that exist, it's their friends that they're talking to. They might as well be playing golf all day. It doesn't have to be a courtroom. And so I agree. It's about fairness. Wildly unfair. Don't argue with you. If the question is, as a matter of the numbers and the law, should he have had to go to that particular court versus the, personal bankruptcy versus the business bankruptcy? No, he made it, through contracts, through agreements that he could go into business
Like, we don't have the
bankruptcy.
numbers, so I just think it's hard for us to say whether
As
it's
much as
those
we don't like
bankruptcy or whether it's not.
there's a reason
I
it
need more
went there.
information
They
so I can
prosecuted at a
make a
very high
decision.
level.
Well,
and said,
there's
there's nothing we can do to
we don't have
reinforce it into
information, but
personal
the
bankruptcy.
banks obviously made a
That's,
decision based on.
So that
on
is
business.
purely the question, should
And
Trump have
obviously
been
realize
made
that
legally?
either they were getting more money.
But again, would I love to have seen it happen? Yeah, it would have been
Or,
great because.
in the long term,
Trump
I
is
think
kind
I'm
of
giving up to the
But either way, they did it. They weren't.
No, I see
There was,
your.
there's obviously a loss.
I
All right, so
How big
start to
was the
walk
loss?
towards your final decision, and we'll just wrap it up in about 20 seconds here. So gravitate towards your final decision.
And that's really the question. And obviously allowing him to remain, they decided was
I
less
agree with
loss.
it. If the question was, would it have been fair to make Trump fit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been fair.
Yeah.
But is it right? No,
It's not
he shouldn't have had to.
unconvincing.
All right, is everyone at their final decision point?
I'm still gonna go to yes.
I'll stay here. I'm gonna go to yes too.
Are you still on yes?
All right, go back to your final decision points. All right.
What?
Good.
Yeah, well, I was telling you, I'll be better.
So this is a great example of how no one changed their mind. But you had some great arguments. We can talk about that. Why did no one change their mind? Or what sort of arguments you tried to get them to change their mind and why that wasn't successful? Here's some thoughts on that. Levy.
I think, and it's probably counterintuitive to everything you're trying to teach us in this class,
Okay, fair
not
enough.
everything, but I think people relate to this emotionally. And in this scenario, they will come out with rational reasons why they believe in it, but deep down it's really based on an emotional choice, and therefore it's a lot harder to change that even with, even unconsciously I would say that, subconsciously, sorry. People don't realize that it's an emotional issue. I think it's a lot stronger issue. The previous question was purely irrational. It wasn't. This is much more emotional, and it's much harder to change somebody's minds, even if they're not going to admit that it's an emotional decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an emotional decision, and I think it's harder to change, to your point, exactly. And in these are the kind of things that you're going to face, not only in your personal lives, your professional lives, people who have an emotional point, and you don't agree with the rationale behind their emotional point, but people are very reluctant to change. You all are familiar with that, right? You've seen these situations before where people just don't change, to Levy's point, because there's an emotional component behind it. We've got to think about how we can have a conversation with that person. Can we just say you're wrong? Do we need to be conscious of not putting them into an emotional hijack situation and making them hate us for the entirety of the rest of their career at that location, at the job location, at that position, whatever? Right? These things can happen in a minute, and you can get stuck in a situation like this where someone just won't change their mind. And I think we saw a little bit of that at the last exercise. I mean, Levy, I just saw you as on the average question is no possibility you were changing. Every single thing that everyone threw at you, no, can't be, yada, 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 yada. And you pointed out that there's some ambiguity there. Maybe there was a good reason to go to the undecided section. Other thoughts on this exercise before we move on? Good. All right, let's take 10 minutes. We'll come back at 2:55, and then we'll finish up with some conversation scenarios.
There will be class at the beginning. That's what he said. There will be class at the beginning, then he's going to give the test. I believe so. For me, it's very hard to adjust things. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. But this is only 15%. It's not a whole lot. It's still. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How intense.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do some real-life question type of scenarios. We're going to try to use some of these techniques in those what you might call difficult conversations. And remember, there was a couple concepts we talked about when you're interacting with someone and trying not to put them in an emotional hijack. You can use questions versus statements, and we, if other things, all things equal, prefer a question because a question engages someone in a cerebral conversation, and also a question can be less likely to put someone in an emotional hijack situation if you ask it in a delicate manner. The other thing we talked about was this idea of intention versus impact that we need to be cognizant of when we're engaged in a conversation with someone. Can someone in class summarize that point for us? Intention versus impact. Go for it, Brian.
So I think with the intention, it's like you can intend to say something, but you're not saying it, so it's under the breath. So there's a gap between what the listener is going to interpret and have an impact from your intention. So we talked about the cliff, like there is a gap. How do you bridge the gap?
Yes, so intention and impact are different. I have an intention of having a positive conversation with you. The impact is you feel threatened, you feel that your job is in danger. And what was one of the ways, I guess probably the only way we really talked about overcoming that gap?
I remember you mentioned adding qualifiers, saying the reason why I bring this conversation is trying to help you solve this problem rather than have a wider scope so people guessing what's your intention.
Yeah, I called them labels. I wouldn't say qualifiers. Qualifiers imply some other things, but label. So this is my intention. I see that you are getting a little nervous, or you might be a little nervous about this conversation, but I want to clarify. And when you respond, label, label, label. So intention versus impact, this is a big problem. I mentioned this idea that the first person, or the first time I learned this material, the facilitator liked to use this saying that evil gets way too much credit in the world. People are so rarely evil. They so rarely have bad intentions. Much more often, there are people with good intentions and bad skills. So we want to not have this evil stuff in between our intention and impact gap. We instead want to label. I want to say, this is why I'm starting this conversation. This is why I'm responding. What may look like I'm angry is not that I'm angry, it's just that I'm excited about this opportunity. And we talked about we talked about, I guess, 8 different ways to approach that. If you're initiating a conversation, you have intentions, there are words you can say to clarify your intentions. If you want to determine the impact on the person you're having this conversation with, there are ways that you can distinguish that. The person you initiate a conversation with may say something back to you. You want to find out their intentions rather than assume that they don't like your idea. And the impact that might leave on you at the end of the conversation. There are some things you can do to clarify that. So label is a good way to overcome that gap, and questions versus statements is often a good way to interact in a way that doesn't put someone in an emotional hijack situation. So for this next set of exercises, sometimes when I have a really big class, I'll break everyone up so everyone gets a chance to talk. But I think what we'll do is we can just do all these exercises together as a group. We'll just read them through. We'll have one person volunteer for each part. We'll take a crack at solving this difficult scenario, and we'll maybe run it again as necessary. So let's look at the first one. What do we got here? Okay, so small group scenario. We won't do small groups because we're a pretty small group as it is. Let me go ahead and read this to you. You can think about how you might approach this difficult conversation. So, in your role as VP of Sales for a software company, so you are the VP of Sales for a software company, you oversee several district managers who themselves oversee 5 to 6 sales representatives. So you oversee district managers, they have their sales reps. One of your district managers, Pat, led a team that has performed very well over the past 2 years, but in the first quarter of 2015, sales in Pat's district have been surprisingly low. There have been personal conflicts between Pat and 2 of the sales reps that seem to be related to low sales figures. Replacing or moving the sales reps would be difficult because the personal relationships they have with the customers. However, moving Pat to another district would be very easy. However, Pat has been a great district manager, and you do not want Pat to feel blamed or punished, so you would like to resolve the personal conflicts and get the team back up to par. You need to talk with Pat. So, you oversee several district managers. One of them is Pat. Pat has his or her 5 to 6 sales reps. Sales have been good over the last couple of years, but in the most recent quarter, sales have been bad, possibly due to personal conflicts between 2 sales reps. Your goal is to get the team up to speed, increase those sales numbers to the previous good numbers they've been in the past. Make sense? All right, so everyone should be thinking about how we would approach this conversation, but in order to act it out, let's see if we can get 2 volunteers to have this conversation with us and use some of these good skills. Can I get a volunteer to play Pat, please? Josh. All right, volunteer to play the person who initiates the conversation. Natalie, go for it. All right. All right, so Josh is Pat, and Natalie, you're gonna just go ahead and sit down, say, can I talk to you for a minute or whatever, and start this conversation for us.
Hi Pat, how are you? So it's come to my understanding that this district, along with some other districts, are having a bit of trouble this year. Can you maybe discuss that a little?
It's not just my district. I think we've done very well in the past, but some of the sales reps are not quite what we've had in the past. And I think that may be where we see some numbers sitting.
Okay. So, are there any other districts that by chance you'd like to maybe get involved in? Maybe you can see if you can work some of your magic that you worked in previous years in another district maybe? If it's something that you'd be open to for your own career growth, I think you're an amazing,
District manager.
I think you're an amazing district manager, and I think you've had some great years previously, and I understand the challenges that you're facing now may come from outside people, so I'm willing to extend that opportunity to you.
Well, I mean, just at first blush, I mean, I have done a good job here in the past, and I'm pretty settled. I think, maybe moving some of the problems is more appropriate solution.
Right, but you have an expertise that I just can't duplicate. It'd be much easier for me to just place you someplace else and use your expertise there.
Well, I mean, it's something I guess we can talk about. I have to go, we should have time.
discuss it with the incentives if you and your family decide that it's something you'd be interested in.
That is something I'll consider. We talk it over. Need more details.
Good, good, good. I guess stay there for a second. Good. Thoughts on how this conversation was approached and the level of success?
Natalie will bring up tackling or resolving the conflict rather than, it seemed like she came out with the thinking already set in her head that she wants to move back to a district.
Yeah, that happened in this conversation. So maybe it would have been worthwhile to discuss solving the problem. Fair comment. Absolutely. Yeah, let's see. But it was interestingly successful even without doing that.
I just figured the junior staff, they have to remain, right, because they have the connection with the customer. So they have to stay. The only way to kind of resolve this whole dynamic is for Pat to move.
Okay. Maybe there was that was the underlying thing. That it didn't really cause as much tension as it could have, but there was still an underlying, there's this problem with the two sales reps, and I could see that potentially leading to problems. The fact that they weren't able to talk openly about it and label, all right, this is the problem, we have these two sales reps. I want to make clear, as Natalie did a good job with her verbiage, if you're the talented person, you have expertise that I need, I want to kind of label that I'm approaching this problem independent of that. Josh?
Well, yeah, what I was going to say is that I guess from the little scenario, I came in kind of thinking like I'd be more resistant and want to really kind of hash it out about these sales reps. But when she couched it in kind of like, well, you have the expertise that's of value to me, and let me apply that. Sounds like it had to be like, well, yeah, I guess that's I can't argue with you. I do have expertise. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I think from that standpoint, the verbiage that Natalie used was very successful. But to Priya's point, I would add to Priya's point by saying she could use that great verbiage to address the underlying issue that still may come up. As this thing plays out, that still may come up. And Josh may think, oh, well, she never talked to me about that. And she just said, last time I heard, I had great expertise. Now she wants to bring this up, or now this is happening, yada yada. Yes.
The only issue I have with that is if Josh is the problem, Pat is the problem creator in this case, he might move to a different district and still have the same problem, with the reps. So in this, I can assume that obviously what's the bottom line of the conflict was not discussing the case, but as a manager probably you have to bring it up at some point.
Yeah, that's it. Just like I extended your point that Natalie could have used the positive stuff she was using to actually accomplish that. Other thoughts? One interesting thing Natalie said at the beginning that Josh picked right up on was she said there's some districts, your district along with others, is having some problems.
Yeah.
Anyone notice that? That almost sidetracked the entire thing, and Josh picked on me. It's like, oh, I'm glad it's not just me. Okay, so that could have, derailed the conversation, but that also could have come back to hurt Natalie when she starts talking about a problem. If she addressed it more, she addressed it more directly. Josh could have said, wait a minute, I thought everyone's having this problem. Now all of a sudden you're turning this into, there's a problem in my district, but you knock on my door saying, you just want to say what's going on overall. That could have come back to her. Any other thoughts? Great. All right. Great example. Let's do that one. All right. We got small group scenario number 2. You are going to play the marketing director supervising 18 professionals and support staff. The nature of the work requires a collaborative environment where professionals give work to the support staff. So one professional on your team, Chris, has started dating a person on the support staff. Right? Chris is a professional. He or she has started dating someone on the support staff. Although there's no policy prohibiting dating, several coworkers have complained about the two being too affectionate at work. Some also indicate that there's preferential treatment for Chris's newfound love interest. You need to talk to Chris. All right, volunteer for Chris. John Inge? All right, John Inge will play Chris. Someone want to play the initiator of the conversation? Priya? Go for it.
What am I supposed to do here? I'm the marketing director, is it?
Yep, marketing director. How are you going to approach this difficult conversation? Label as necessary, and not put Chris into an emotional hijack.
Hey Chris, how are you?
Good, how are you?
What are you doing?
Pretty good. What's this regarding?
I know, I just wanted to touch base with you. I got a little bit of feedback from your coworkers and I thought, I should bring it up to you and try to see how can we make the best working environment here. So, don't get alarmed and
Who are
it's
these
nothing.
people?
Don't worry, it's just your coworkers.
Right.
And so it came to my attention that you are in a love relationship with somebody
Yes.
within our group, and which is great. I'm all in favor of all of that, but I'm kind of this was brought to my attention that some of your coworkers that they are getting a little distracted because of two of you spending a little bit more time within the work environment. I don't know what's your take on that. Do you think we could make it a little bit easier on the other ones? I mean, I am all in favor of two of you being together and all that
Right.
stuff, but what are your thoughts?
What do you mean, make it easier on the other ones?
Because I'll probably be a little bit more clear on this. So some of your coworkers came and said that they were getting affected because you two are a little bit more affectionate out here. And I as a manager, I feel that might be, and they mentioned that it's a little bit of distraction for them at work. So I was thinking, if you could, two of you could spend more time outside your relationship than maybe more co-workers here taking work more seriously working things. Although I'm all supportive, don't get me wrong. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, these people should mind their own business. It's not like my performance at the job has been affected. I don't think that that's the case with her. So I really don't see why that could be a problem.
Well, Chris, it's a highly collaborative environment. As you probably understand, our department is a marketing department and everybody has to work together to get things going. And I really want everybody to put in their 100% into the job because we have deadlines and strict timings and timelines with things like that. I would obviously, you're an adult and you can make decisions like this for yourself, but as a manager, since it was brought to my attention, I just thought I'll pass it by you and see if, you can be a little bit more considerate in terms of that. Any thoughts?
Well, if you ask me to tone it down a little bit, I'll do it. I think you're very considerate and I value your input on this matter. So
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. And so good job. We'll definitely, be working together a lot more and definitely looking forward to going 100% great work.
Oh, great. Thank you. Really great.
Good job. All right, comments on this scenario. How was this conversation approached? What was effective, what was not effective by it? Jared?
I think she was trying to calm him down, not to let him go to the emotional hijack.
She was trying to calm him down?
Yeah, by saying
Yeah.
it's okay that that this is happening.
I'm being calm with it, but.
Yeah, she set some parameters and said it's okay. And then I think she actually said, don't worry, it's just, I want to talk to you. I forget exactly the words you said, but I think you said, don't worry at some point.
Remember what I said.
It's nothing bad.
Don't get alarmed.
Don't get alarmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something.
Good. Other thoughts? This is a pretty successful one. John Ninge did a good job of being a little bit hesitant, but he didn't really freak out about anything. Yeah, I guess you could have, what was I going to say? So there was this discussion about people should mind their own business, and I think Priya handled that very well by saying this is just about work. It's not about anything you're doing wrong. There was one interesting thing, and I'm trying to think about how this factored into the conversation, that Priya was very quick to turn it to him and say, can I get your thoughts, before she really laid out the problem. And he actually had space to follow up and say, well, what is the problem? What's going on here? It may have been nervousness.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
So,
I remember that.
Yeah. Often when there's a difficult conversation, it is very tempting to let the other person jump in, or actually ask the other person to jump in before you've really clearly articulated what's going on.
Are you saying, wouldn't that be actually a good thing?
Well, it left space for confusion in this scenario. So she said, what are your thoughts, before she even said what was wrong. She said, there's a love interest. I understand you're in a love interest, that's fine, yada yada, but there may be some problems with it. What are your thoughts? And he's like, well, what are you talking about? What's wrong? You should just mind your own business. And then she had to backtrack, or say what I think she should have said before she even put it to him, which is, people have been distracted by the fact that you're too affectionate at work.
I think we didn't end up mentioning the allocation.
Preferential
treatment.
Yeah.
If Priya mentioned that, I would have been,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we skipped to the top. Should we discuss that really quick? Preferential treatment?
I think I wouldn't have been able to really talk myself out of that one. I mean, it's still a case of he said, she said, but it would force my character further into a corner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to do it again? Do we want to do just that section again?
It's too odd.
All right. Any other comments before we move on? All right, let's move on to the next one. What do we got here? All right, scenario 3. You are an office manager overseeing a department of 25 people. 2 of your employees separately complain to you about Jamie's unpleasant body odor and how difficult it is to work in the same area. You agree to talk with Jamie. All right, volunteer to play Jamie, please. Helen? All right. And volunteer to play the office manager. All right, yeah.
Everything is good. Actually, I just want to talk a little bit about some issue brought to my attention. Not a big deal, but a couple of team members come to me and they would like to control on what they come to at your expertise. So there's some small problem bothering them. It's going to be a small problem there, and maybe if you make them don't feel hesitant to approach you.
What is going wrong with those guys' nose? I wash every day, the day and night, and I think maybe the problem with my new fragrance. I bought a new bottle of fragrance. Maybe it smells Okay, I will figure it out.
Right, I understand people have some preferences, maybe your favorite preference is not their favorite, but maybe we'll slow down a little bit, something more neutral. So, is that a lot of times they look up to your knowledge and experience, they like to have a little more connection with you.
And are they sure, the smell or the odor is coming from my body, not anyone else?
Well, so far I haven't heard about other issues, but if there's any other thing in the office that you guys concerned, I will definitely look into it.
Okay, I will pay attention to that.
All right, thank you.
Good, all right. Good, all right. Comments on this scenario?
It's a very hard one. She was very nice, but usually I don't think people would be so nice.
Yeah, that's my thought, that this went very, very well, and we can think about why it went well, but we can also be aware of the fact that it's less likely
I
to...
was, at first I saw she had a big response. I was like, I was ready for some tough punch, and then she just turned and said, maybe my fragrance was too hard to accept, but she turned around as herself.
Yeah, because I find excuse for myself is not from my body, it's maybe from the everywhere else. So it will make myself more easier to solve this problem. Because this is a personal issue. So it's very hard to take it.
Yeah, and that's a great point. So I think we can look at that example of saying, Yang didn't make the mistake of saying you need to take a shower or there are germs. She didn't get into where the odor is coming from. She just said there is an odor. Can we correct it? And then that response, in this case, elicited a much more positive reaction. And to Helen's point, it gave her an excuse, gave her a way to rationalize it. Didn't paint her into a corner. That was a great strategy. Yang also said, I just want to talk to you about something, it's not a big deal. That was a good label. You're not getting fired here. All right. I'm not threatening your credentials. Let's just talk about this. Yeah, I think that was good. It was good. Helen could have made it more difficult for you, but it went really well. All right, yeah, let's keep going. Let's see, is there a short one here? Yeah, let's try the short one. Maybe we'll come back to we'll come back to scenario one later. All right, you are a supervisor in a warehousing operation. You recently instituted a no smoking policy at the facility. All employees were notified of this policy change. It was not well received. As you walk down aisle B in the warehouse, you see a cloud of smoke and then see Chris running to aisle A. You need to talk to Chris. Alright, Levy, you want to be a difficult Chris for us?
Okay.
And let's see, Jerry, you want to see if you can work out this problem? Okay.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, so when I was walking, I kind of saw a cloud of smoke, and I understand that I know that we have a no non-smoke policy.
Sure, you saw me. So you're saying you saw me smoking?
I can't say I saw you smoking, but it's a impression.
Go on. I'm not sure what the problem is.
As you know that we have a non-smoking policy, so it's better if we not smoke in the house.
Yeah, I've seen the policy. You know, know, like all other policies. But you know, you're the warehouse manager, and I mean, you know, if you just stay in the office, you know, we do all the hard work, so I don't know what you're making such a big deal out of it. The work's getting done. Like even if I was smoking, but like, you know, it's not really a big deal. I don't know what the issue is.
I mean, I think it's still better outside. Maybe, even though I really feel like the smoke when you're working, but I feel like it's better for the elderly employees if you want this outside.
Was anybody complaining?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so what's the problem? I mean, the job's getting done, nobody's complaining, we're all happy, the workers down here are happy, you know?
But I still think that like you can try to keep it outside. I'm not. It's not gonna be fired or anything. But like I was saying that for a benefit of all the
Well, actually, we actually don't like the new policy.
like if you don't with the policy, then like maybe you can write a complaint to the higher ups. Like, it could be that it's not just. It could be that it's like the laws something. So even though you don't like the policy, but you have to enforce the law. So they make choice to put this policy.
Okay, I think that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that maybe it's still better if you smoke outside. I know that you might like smoke, like you practice a smoke during you're working, but it's because of the policy for the health of all the employees, it's better if you smoke outside.
Okay, I'll try to smoke outside.
I think that's all I wanted.
Okay.
Good. Excellent. Some good stuff going on there. Thoughts?
Gary is so nice, and you know, to me, he's like a manager, and he's an employee. I think Gary cannot be stronger, and he kept on asking questions. Did you see I smoke there?
Yeah. So definitely, I would agree with that. That this is a good chance for Jerry to practice and think about how do you confidently present a problem. That was one aspect, I think, of the way Jerry approached it. And the other aspect was the burden of proof that Levy jumped on. So let's discuss both those. Like how could Jerry have found more confidence to present this, or what words should he have used?
Can you say this non-smoking policy is not helping an individual, but for the warehouse safety issue? So it's not just the individual behavior, but for the big picture, it's for the safety, fire hazard?
Yeah, so he definitely could have said that, and he also could have just said it's a non-negotiable policy. Frank.
I guess Jerry may check the security camera and make sure to get some evidence before he chopped it out.
Yeah, so that's an interesting dilemma. How should that have been handled? That maybe he could prove it, maybe he couldn't prove it. Should Jerry have checked the security footage? What do you think? Priya?
I think without having a solid proof about that it was really him, there could be multiple smokers within the company. I mean, it was a bit of a fruitless conversation to me.
Okay, Josh.
Well, I don't know, I was just to say, this may go counter to kind of the point of this whole thing, but it's, I would have thought that based on the way it went back and forth, it was just, at some point, I think if I were the manager, I'd be like, well, we came in here to have a really light conversation about smoking, but now we have to talk about how you don't respect me. We're gonna have to have a much heavier conversation now.
Okay. Okay. That's a good point.
I was told to play a tough person.
Yes, exactly. So in terms of, let me comment on the proof issue first. I guess the way the scenario is written is it's Chris. Chris is the guilty party. But I don't know if that's completely necessary to prove that, because it's meant to be a let's just respect the policy type of conversation. So, we're not establishing proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and there's no punishment. So let's just make sure we're on the same page and make sure that if you were near that cloud of smoke, that you'd not be near that cloud of smoke next time. So that's why I might hesitate to say Jerry needed to check the security footage and all that. He just needs to say, look, I'm the manager, and this is I'm going to confidently lay out what the plan is, and let's make sure that we're on the same page as that. And I think it's almost like Levy put Jerry into an emotional hijack. You see what Jerry started doing once he saw that this was going to be a difficult sell? And this was partly because he read the scenario in class, but it spoke to me in terms of how he was approaching the conversation. What Jerry did is he just kept looking down at the notes. I mean, how are you going to have a conversation with somebody every time they come back and you're like, well, you did this? And I think that was probably a nervous reaction.
Yeah.
Because
that's why I approach it, because I try to be nice, but sometimes like if he's trying to be difficult, like maybe I'm not. I try not to like go to emotional hijack with him. Just like try to be nice and like not like just try to calm him down.
Okay, so maybe that was your way of pausing, taking a moment.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good strategy. It's definitely affected the way you presented yourself, though.
Yeah.
And it's all about this personal interaction with the person you're having a difficult conversation with. The same comment I would say when you all are giving presentations. You want to be looking us in the eye. You want to be relating to us. You don't want to read your presentation. Same thing is doubly true in a difficult conversation. You want to bring that sincerity to the person you're talking with. Any other thoughts before we move on? Yes, now.
How would it have been if he just asked him, sorry, I don't know the current name.
Chris or whatever.
Right, he just asked, were you smoking over there? Force him into that corner.
Yeah, that could have been a good way to go. He could have warmed it up a little bit. He could have said, look, I know we have this new policy about no smoking. I saw some smoke as you were running away from aisle B, and I want to ask you, look, was it you? That I could see some potential problems.
I meant to come back and saying, well, did you see me?
Okay. Oh, once Levy started saying, do you have proof, yada yada, he could have said, well, was it you? Tell me it wasn't you. If you tell me it wasn't you, then I'll believe you. And it would have worked especially well in this scenario because there's no need to get to that undeniable burden of proof, just to make sure we're on the same page. Great point. Anything else? All right, good. Have a seat, guys. Appreciate it. Let's go back to this scenario one. So it's going to take us a minute to get all the moving parts here, but I think this is valuable because this relates to the conversation you might have had already or will have in the near future. So you are going to play an MBA student at RBS, and you've worked on several team projects with the same group of students in your finance class. One team member, Alex, does not seem to be contributing as much as everyone else. Alex did the bare minimum for the first project and promised to contribute more for the second project. Although Alex did put in more effort for the second project, the work was not completed on time or in the correct format. So you and the others needed to step up at the last minute to complete the project. You are now about to begin the third and final class project, and you would like to talk to Alex about improving the quality of the work and submitting it ahead of time. You are worried that Alex will get defensive when you suggest that the quality be improved because Alex put in a lot of effort last time. And you are also afraid that Alex will think you are being unreasonable if you suggest that the work be submitted ahead of time. But your grading in the class is important and you need to talk with Alex. All right, volunteer to play Alex. Frank, go for it. volunteer to play the initiator of this conversation? Eric, go for it.
Alex, how are you?
Hi.
I know we need to start our third project for the finance class.
Yeah.
And I remember in the second project you did a great job and you bring a lot of great ideas to our second project.
Yeah, I tried out my best.
Yes, we can figure it out. So, to quickly review last time, we have a little bit rush in the last minute of the project 2 and some about the format things. So our team members think if we can do better in the third project. So we think we can make a deadline before the real deadline of this project and we can finish in that time. And at that time we can, as a team, to review our work and make everything better. What do you think?
Yes, no problem. I agree with you. But let's say, what are the deadline?
Yeah.
Yeah, for my
No, it's for everybody the
For
same.
everybody
Yes,
the same.
yes. Everybody needs to finish a little bit earlier than the real deadline, and we can, as a team, to review that. So, do you think that's okay for you?
Okay, no problem. Let's have a quality of my work.
Yeah. From the last project, we see most of the part of your job is good, but only some of the format things you need to follow. We need to follow the same format in our team, and something about format and something you bring out a lot of good ideas, but you also lost some great ideas from the class that you taught. So we added that for you. So in this time, we think if we can finish each part before the deadline, and we can review that, and you can add it up with the other members of the team to talk to you.
Okay, sure, no problem. By the way, please send me the formats.
Sure, no problem. That's no. I will email you later.
Okay, that's everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Frank made it pretty easy on us. Hopefully this conversation goes as well. Have any of you had a similar conversation to this? Have any of you wanted to have a similar conversation to this? Maybe avoided it?
I find it easier just to
Just do it yourself?
yeah.
Okay.
That's a very common thing here.
Okay. Good. Any thoughts on how this discussion went down?
Well, Frank was easy.
Mm-hmm.
If it was me, it would be very condescending. If he was kind of talking, kind of was like an employee relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think teams are a little difficult because it's like, why do you think your way is better than my way? We're on the same level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that could have happened, but I thought Eric approached it really well. Not only was Frank an easy person to talk to, but Eric had a good method. He said, as you know, last time we had to rush it a little bit at the end. He didn't say it was your fault we had to rush it. He could have said it was your fault, but he said we had to rush it. So let's just have an earlier deadline, and let's get it done then. And I thought that was just very methodical and objective the way that Eric laid it out. Yeah.
I think most of the problem we came in the group of is we have a different interpretation of the questions and also the different approach. If the problem is just the formats or just push the deadline forward, I think it's much easier to solve.
Yeah. Okay. So the format and pushing it, and I think there was actually another component that. Yeah. So okay. So he didn't really deal with this. Suggested the quality be improved. So we skated around the. But I think actually Frank asked him about it. Frank said, "Is there any?" So Frank was the one who initiated it.
He's too good a teacher.
Should my quality be improved? So you're gonna hope you have someone like Frank on your team, or someone like Frank working for you, who comes into your office and says, "How can I improve the quality of the work I do for you?" All right, but good job, good job, and good takeaways. Let's see what else we have. We're gonna sneak in just one more. All right. All right, let's do this one. I've got an idea for this one. All right. You're a payroll manager supervising 25 people. Your team works in close quarters with little physical separation between stations. Drew is one of your best performers, yet you have received complaints that Drew tends to sprinkle conversations with rather crude and vulgar references. This is not a team of saints, but some people have complained that Drew is crossing the line. You need to talk to Drew. All right, let's have Janine. Why don't you play a difficult Drew? And Levy, let's see if you can handle a difficult Drew. Everyone went, right? I didn't skip anyone, did I?
Mr. Milligan.
Hey Drew, how are you?
Hey, can't complain.
Good, good.
Yeah, we just got the work day. It's long and hard.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what she said.
Yeah, that kind of is for all of that. I just wanted to call you in here just to discuss something quickly. It's a difficult conversation for me to have because I don't like to get involved, and sometimes these matters could be a bit personal, but I feel that I would want someone to have a conversation with me. Other people felt the same way. A few people have mentioned that they feel a bit uncomfortable with a lot of the crude language that you use at times. I know you don't view it like that. It could just be second nature for you. But in the workplace, you kind of have to respect other people's, what they view as appropriate, and just to make it a more comfortable environment for everybody.
What kind of comments are they?
Well,
Was that to make?
I don't want to repeat them over here. I'm not exactly sure what you said, but I just want you to maybe just take into account and just have second thoughts, just the way you speak. I don't want to get involved in your personal life and how you speak personally, but just in the office and in the workplace, there's people here, some of them are, mothers of children, but they just concerned that sometimes the vulgar language isn't so appropriate.
Yeah, but so and so has been saying, it's just like off-color jokes all the time.
Yeah, look, I know that. Look, I think there is a little bit of informality in the department, and there's a lot of that goes on. I'm not trying to point you out versus anybody else over here, but just if you could just take that into consideration, other people's feelings. I know it's sometimes difficult, especially because the environment isn't so formal, but just to try to think how other people would feel because of their personal preference, and just in the workplace, if that's okay with you.
I think this is just a bunch of PC nonsense.
Look, maybe it is. I don't want to. I'm not trying to take any
What is
sides.
this, some kind of nanny state?
No, look, I'm not trying to take any sides, but we just have to try to make it a workable environment for people.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're wrong. Maybe my personal life also speak like that, but just try to consider other people. Thank you. Appreciate that, Joe.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you. I appreciate your maturity and understanding, and that you'll take this into consideration.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Good constructive conversation. Comments? Yes, Ken.
I think a lot of people professional say, I don't want to step into personal life, but when in the work environment, just keep it down a little bit so you have a way to scope it.
Yeah, he distanced himself from this problem successfully. Any other comments? John?
I mean, I think it was good to just acknowledge and say, no, look, I get it, it's a relaxed work environment, but there's, still kind of limit some things, and not just make it purely about, somehow you're just out of character for the whole environment. It's like, no, I know what we're doing here, but just relax.
Yeah. It gave it a very real quality to the conversation. So I understand, you understand, let's solve this problem together. He didn't fall into the trap of nitpicking what is vulgar, what is crude, what is not. That would have been a more difficult conversation. And he left it at just take that into consideration, which I think was probably the goal for this conversation. There was no, let's write you up, there was no further action or sensitivity training. So not only did he have a real conversation by being casual, he put the responsibility on Judd Ning's shoulders by saying just to step it up a notch or be aware of that. Any other comments? Good job, Libby. Good job being a difficult Chris.
Sure.
Excellent.
Sure.
All right. All right, so, oh gosh, we'll wrap it up. Didn't mean to keep you all quite so late. Thought we'd be done a little bit sooner. But let me just say a word or two on your last assignment, which will be a summation of emotional intelligence in our thesis and subheading format. I believe I'm all caught up on grading assignments, and I got everyone's Dell case study back to you. If you did not get 10 out of 10, please take a note and look at the comments. I think the great thing about this thesis subheading format is that I can give you comments that are very correctable and allow you to be more clear in your writing. A couple people just didn't use subheadings, and if I gave you that note, just use subheadings and think about how that can focus your writing a little bit. The trick for the emotional intelligence is to think, how can we take this abstract stuff and put it into a clear, this is how emotional intelligence is useful, these are actionable takeaways. What is the assignment, Jared? Can you read the assignment description for me?
Reflect on the emotional intelligence content discussed in class and write an essay about what emotional intelligence is and how it's useful for employees who need to communicate effectively in a business environment.
Okay, so what emotional intelligence is and why it's effective. So in keeping with our thesis subheading format, you're going to have one clear thesis statement. Emotional intelligence is X and is useful because of X, Y, Z. And then you're going to have 3 subheadings. Probably would be the X, Y, Z of why it is useful. I'm certainly open to other interpretations of how you use that format, but I think that would probably be the easiest way to do it. Your subheadings are going to be in clear parallel structure like you've done in the previous ones. Subheadings are going to have that topic sentence. And if you need to go into deeper explanation, you can do it under those clearly articulated subheadings and that clearly stated topic sentence. Yes, sir?
So you want the thesis to be on how it's helpful? There's 2 parts. There's what is emotional intelligence and why is it helpful, or you have the why it's helpful.
It's up to you. I think the easiest way to do it would be, this is what emotional intelligence is and it's helpful for these 3 reasons. That tends to be most of the essays I get. But if you want to go into emotional intelligence is 1, 2, 3 and have those be your 3 subheadings, I will not mark it off because you didn't get into the advantage. But I think it's valuable. It's valuable to take, the abstract creative type things we've been discussing over the last 2 sessions and think about how could I use this. And I think that's important anytime we learn soft skills, and also important because of the 2 class periods you've invested and you can take away. And at the same time, your last chance to practice this thesis subheading format in terms of the clear writing that I think you can learn from that. There was a question for you.
So does it have to be 3 subheadings or it could be 2?
Yeah, it could be 2, could be 4. Any questions? And then the next class, the last class, is our improvisation stuff. And I think there's just a quick article I've asked you to read on that to prepare. And there is a quick 3 or so minute video that I would suggest you take a look at. Improvisation is similar to emotional intelligence in that it is a soft skill. Learning how to use improvisation and relate those takeaways to a business environment is something we need to think about. And if you can establish some framework, if you can get an idea of what that takeaway might be by watching that 3-minute video or reading that article, which is just a couple pages, I think that's going to position you to get more out of the class next time. All right, I hope you enjoyed the exercises today. I look forward to seeing you in our last class next week. Thank you. Yes, good. And also, yeah.
Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it.
Hey, so, good seeing you. There we go.
Rita, did you see the comment I wrote on your last?
Title.
Yeah.
You're right, but I was struggling with it because it's such a broad topic.
Uh-huh.
I was struggling a little bit to come up with them, but you had very good suggestions.
Yeah, I was thinking about how the thesis subheading format could be a very useful format for you because you write a lot and you go into a lot of detail, and I think that could be very good. But with the thesis subheading format, it just guides your reader, so your reader knows what you're going to say, knows where you're going, so it's not intimidated by this perhaps detail-oriented, complicated language
No,
sometimes.
you're absolutely right. I get this comment a lot. It's like, oh, you have a very storytelling kind of writing style, and I tend to write a lot. So yeah, I get that a lot.
So I mean, so if you want to keep your writing just the same, the thesis subheading could guide you, but it could also inform you when you could write less.
Right.
Because you could look at the format and say, well, this is the point I'm trying to make in this paragraph. I only need 3 sentences to make that point, so I can cut these other two.
No, I think you're right. Thanks.
All right, you got it.